Good afternoon, my friends, and welcome to another edition of Removing That Liberal Blindfold for this Tuesday, the 5th day of March in the year of our Lord 2019. The destruction of the Constitution and the laws that make this country equal are going on from the left. From Conservative Tribune comes this one. Voices should be heard, even if they aren't able to scream the loudest. Hello, Claudia. Good to see you here. The Democrats don't believe that. So they want to get rid of the Electoral College because it keeps us from being ruled by because it keeps us from being ruled by a liberal minority that would in fact win all the time without it. Liberals claim to believe in equality and standing up for the little guy in the face of bullies, but a movement gaining steam in blue states is putting that into doubt. Frustrated that they didn't win in 2016, the left has a new plan: sidestep the Constitution and effectively get rid of the Electoral College. The problem lies in the fact that big cities are liberal bastions of the nation, folks, and if you live in rural areas and if they get rid of the Electoral College, your voice will never be heard. Good to see you, Gary and Daniel. Good to be here. Good for you to be here. Colorado is the latest state to jump on board. Last week, the Democratic governor, Jared Polis, announced that he would sign a bill which basically rewrites the electoral process and could have paved the way to letting big cities dominate every future presidential election. If this happens, Denver will rule over Colorado. The rest of the state be damned. The liberal called the Electoral College an undemocratic relic, apparently believing that he knows better than the founding fathers. Quote, "I've long supported electing the president by who gets the most votes," Polis declared in February 24th, according to The Hill. That plan would force Colorado's electors, the people who actually cast the official votes for the president, to side with whichever candidate wins the national popular vote, no matter what. By changing the regulations at the state level, but still using puppet electors, liberals would avoid amending the Constitution to get their way. It's a way to move toward direct election of the president, Paula said. And now to remove that liberal blindfold, folks, and you need to listen here. At first glance, it's no big deal. Democracy means that people vote and people with the most vote wins, right? The problem, of course, is that America was founded as a republic for a reason. And it's quickly evident just how dangerous it could be to bypass the Electoral College. The United States is a huge and diverse country. The whims and demands of voters in Manhattan are drastically different from the concerns of rural farmers in Iowa. Yet the voices of those smaller locations are just as important, especially if you realize that huge percentages of our food and supplies come from the heartland. The entire purpose of having state and local governments is that by a far-off central government cannot bully the rest of the country, but that's exactly what would happen if the Electoral College were abandoned. A presidential candidate would only need to win a handful of big cities such as New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, completely ignoring the concerns of the interior of the vast nation. The voices of millions of Americans who live outside the coastal population centers would then be ignored. Hello, Wayne and Curtis, good to see you here. And Daniel, too. Ironically, the plan could also mean that the votes of Colorado's own citizens don't really count either, because they would be negated if they don't match the whims of the popular vote. As one Colorado County Commissioner rightly pointed out, we do not support the national popular vote, which allows California and New York to decide Colorado's votes for president. But the Rocky Mountain state isn't alone. An eye-opening number of other states are joining in the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact, all moving towards similar legislation. The states making up the compact, which already includes New York, Illinois, and all the New England states except for New Hampshire, would commit to awarding their electoral votes to whomever wins the popular vote nationally, regardless of the results of the Electoral College. That interstate compact is not likely to have enough support to make a difference in the 2020 election, but it could play a major role in subsequent votes unless conservatives stand up to stop it. The United States of America was founded on a separation of power, not a no-holds-barred popularity contest. Democracy is two wolves and a lamb voting on what to have for lunch, it's been said, and that's exactly right. It's like I've said before. Big cities are the liberal bastions of the nation, folks, and Hillary Clinton and the 2020 Democratic presidential candidates are escalating their wild rhetoric against President Donald Trump and stoking division because they know they cannot get many Americans to vote for their ideas. Electoral college is one of the ways that they want to get rid of. If you live in rural areas and if they get rid of the electoral college, your voice will never be heard in Washington, D.C., and your candidates will never win again and be in Washington, D.C. Think about that one the next time you want to get rid of a system that keeps America safe from tyranny, because it is that system the Democrats want to get rid of, so they can have that tyranny that we do not want. Hello, Tammy. Hello, Tammy and Lillian. Good to have you here. So getting rid of the Electoral College, folks, and fair elections will be a thing of the past, and conservatives in America will never win an election again. Because of that system we have now, we are a constitutional republic, not a democracy, because a democracy is nothing more than mob rule, and we are not that yet. But that is coming if we continue to elect Democrats and Muslims to office. Both entities want to destroy this nation as it was founded, and we'll have more on that one coming soon. Thank you, Lillian, Tammy, Curtis, Wayne, Daniel, Gary, Kathy, Claudia, and I think there was one more in there, but I can't get to it right now. Thank you for all of you for being here. We are here to push the facts that the liberal, lamestream, lying media want to leave out. Facts that change the story from what is right to what the left wants, which is never right anymore. Truth, justice, and the American way are the continuing casualties in everything that the left stands for, and the American people need to learn that or lose everything this country was formed for. God bless America. God bless our troops. And as always, we will not be ruled. Have a safe and blessed day.